Welcome everyone to ASHB's quarterly SBC Smart Building Council webinar meeting, formerly the Intelligent Buildings Council. My name is Marta Klepetowska, and I'm the Programs and Communications Manager here at ASHB. I'll be emceeing the slides today as usual. Please note that today's webinar meeting is being recorded and will be circulated for those who have registered along with the presentation slides. Quick look at today's agenda. We'll begin with a welcome introductions about the SBC from Bob Allen. We'll go over some administrative. We will have Robert and Greg go over some research updates, things that we are doing here at ASHB. Today's keynote is by Ghazi Atallah from Picacity AI, and it is on the topic of AI and smart buildings, scaling to smart real estate portfolio. We will then just quickly go over some of the ASHB programs we've got here, anything new with those, podcasts, white papers, research library, journal. We'll go over just some new business if there is any, some announcements, usually just events that are coming up, and then we will adjourn. And with that, I will pass it over to Mr. Bob Allen.
Great. Thank you, Marta. And as always, appreciate the support from all of you with this meeting and helping with the agenda, and certainly coordinating all of us is awesome. I'm Bob Allen. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales for NAVCO. We are an electronic security company. With us today, we have Bob Lane, who is the SBC Vice Chair from Lane Trusted Advisors, and also Vice Chair Chris Larry, who's the Director of Energy and Engineering with EXP. Unable to join us today, but always an active participant and contributor is Harsha Chandrasekhar with Honeywell. So I'd like to welcome everybody. The ASHB Smart Building Council, we were established in 2001. Our focus is on advancing the large building automation industry through cutting edge technology and research. The council, which we meet quarterly, reviews opportunities, strategies, and oversees initiatives related to systems integration and automation in large buildings. Our projects aim to foster the next generation of smart building technologies, enhancing building performance and energy savings with a comprehensive approach. And truth be told, we are not able to do that without all of the great participants here on the call. So with that, I'd like to move for an approval of the past SBC minutes, which are located on the ashb.com/SBC webpage.
I move the adoption, Bob.
Great, thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Great. The minutes will be considered approved unless there are any objections. Any objections? They are now approved. Great. Thank you very much. So moving right along into some of the fun stuff, Bob Lane, you want to give us a walkthrough on the research updates?
Yeah. We're starting our 225 landmark research project, and it's titled Smart Building Trends and Technology Adoption. We've currently got 16 founders so far, and we'd like to express our sincere gratitude to our founders and the people that support our programs. And you will see the list of them, which represents pretty well the industry who's who. An RFP went out to ASHB member research firms earlier this year, and this led to the selection of Harbor Research. The research will utilize surveys. We'll look at approximately 300 commercial building owners and operators in the US and Canada, and we'll cover key topics and give us an opportunity to gain a perspective on consumer needs and their real outlook. I think it's essential to note that these projects, collectively valued at approximately 80,000 US, will have an exclusive release to the project funders, so each of the funders. There are two distinct funding areas, if anybody is interested. Bronze is priced at $5K, which grants access to the research findings. Silver priced at $10,000, enabling participation in the steering committee and shaping of the project's direction. And it's not too late if anybody is interested. If you want to reach out to administration at ashb.com, or I guess get a hold of Marta, she'll follow up, and or get a hold of me, and I'll handle anything that you need to do. So, Robert, that's the update on smart building trends and technology.
Great, thank you for that. Is that everything for the research updates? So we're moving on to the annual.
I think I'm next here with this one. It looks like I'm on this agenda item. This is Greg. So I'm just going to give a brief overview of this, our BACS North American market sizing project. So we started, this started about 5 years ago. It's ending at the end of this year, and then we're looking to renew it for another 3-year term, and hopefully in perpetuity. But we're getting some of the largest control companies in the world to basically and share their market sizing data and aggregate it through working through BISRIA, where we're looking and sharing some of the software, including supervisory software, analytics, some of the hardware, some gateways, and some BAS network routers, and some of the controls, like room controls and field level controls and things like that. And then so we're anonymizing it and giving it to those that are contributing to this project. So this is an invitation only research, but we're if there's any control companies on the call that would be interested, feel free to reach out, and we could talk to you a little bit more about this particular research project. And we're looking to expand it into Europe and do a very similar research project in Europe, a BACS European market sizing project with some of the same players and some new players. And we're looking to have that start in January 1st, 2026. So if there's some interest in from our European folks as well, feel free to reach out. And this is the other one. This is for the one in Europe that we're a lot of these groups here are the target groups that we're trying to go for. The other ones were confirmed on the North American project.
And I like that inspirational music that came in the background. It was getting me fired up.
Yeah. So I should have that for every call. I don't know where it came from, but yeah.
Add a little drama, a little flair.
Yeah, we get some Rocky music or something like that going.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. Now, certainly one of the parts of the meeting that we all look forward to, our keynote. Today, our keynote is being delivered by Ghazi Atallah. He's recognized as a digital transformation thought leader. Ghazi has more than 25 years experience in technology and technology services and has been the recipient of multiple industry awards. He has deep expertise in working with large private and public sector customers on digital transformation, innovation, and developing smart digital ecosystems, working closely with decision makers to help make their digital ambitions a reality. Ghazi is an entrepreneur with a strong background in leading global technology companies. Today, he will explore how AI-powered smart building digital platforms are reshaping real estate management at scale. As founder and CEO of Picacity AI, Ghazi will highlight how advanced AI is driving real value across buildings, campuses, and entire districts. Ghazi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, and it's a pleasure to join you. Shall I go ahead with the presentation?
Yes, please go ahead. If you'd like,
absolutely.
Ghazi, please go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, we'll do. Hey, I'm assuming you can see my screen now.
Yep, we do. You're in presentation mode at the moment. There we go. Perfect.
Hey, good. So thank you for your time. As I'm presenting, it's hard to see if there are questions. So please feel free to interrupt, or we can, keep the questions till the end to have a Q&A discussion. So I'm okay with either. If we see too many questions coming in during the presentation, maybe we can hold them till the end. But let's start. So thank you for the introduction. I think the idea here is how can we, and the keywords here is portfolio-wide digitization. How can we leverage current technologies and current capabilities to enable portfolio-wide digitization? And that will be the core of the presentation today. And the agenda will be hopefully about 20 minutes presentation, and we'll leave some time for questions at the end. We're talking about what does it mean, holistic portfolio digitization, and what are the benefits? Just a quick introduction in the beginning, and then I'll go through the details. We'll talk about what are the priorities when our customers think about digitization on a portfolio scale. What are those priorities? What are the current challenges from a both technology landscape as well as approach landscape? And then what do we perceive as the solution? Then talk about the actual solution, which is, the AI-enriched Unified Digital Control Center platform. What are the components of this platform from a technology standpoint that is enabling these benefits? And we'll close out with some sample actual use cases and applications of the platform. And then finally is the implementation approach. How do we do this? So we'll cover that briefly at the end. So let me start. When we talk about a holistic approach to digitizing real estate portfolio, we talk about both scale from a space standpoint as well as from a domain standpoint, meaning that we scale from a floor in a building to the entire building, to the entire campus, to a district, to a portfolio spread across the nation. That's very important when we talk about holistic digitization. The other aspect of holistic is actual domains, functions. So sustainability, security, business insights, operations. So being able to talk about holistic means you have to be able to scale from a space standpoint and then also scale from a domain standpoint. And we're going to address those as we go through this presentation. Now, when we do this, and starting with the end in mind, when we do this, why do we do it? Why do we want to? What is the business benefit of delivering portfolio-wide digitization? These are the key elements that we have seen through our experience. So first and foremost, it's smarter and faster decision-making. Why do we say smarter? It's because you're able to actually understand, as you're looking at insights from your portfolio, you're looking at insights from your entire portfolio. Therefore, your ability to make decisions is by default smarter because you've got more data and more insights. Faster is because you're applying the latest technology, especially AI, to help you with the insights to be able to make decisions. But there's also clearly the areas of business assets and then safety asset performance, business asset performance, sustainability asset performance, usability asset performance, operational asset performance. So the idea is, how can we look holistically at what's going on in my asset from a business, safety, security, usability, sustainability standpoint? That's what we're trying to achieve. And that's very important as we move along in terms of the outcomes. Why do we digitize and what are we trying to achieve from this digitization? So we're going to go through these throughout the presentation. Finally, in this slide, just to touch point on the technology side of it, when we talk about rapid and agile deployment here in the bottom, the idea is we want to do this, but we don't want a big bang approach, meaning that it's going to take us 12, 18 months, 24 months to implement something to get to time to benefit. The idea is to make it in a way that's rapid and agile. We're talking in the language of weeks rather than the language of months or years. So when you deploy something that allows you to take advantage, you want to digitize quickly and get to start enjoying the benefit and then add more and more capability as you go along. And that's the way that we believe it should be structured and should be approached. And finally, using the latest advancements in terms of technologies, the idea is how can you make sure that you are as efficient and as optimized as possible from an ICT infrastructure standpoint, especially leveraging cloud infrastructure. So let's talk about digitization priorities, challenges, and solutions. It'll be quick, but the idea is to set the stage. So when we talk to our customers and they say we want to digitize, we want to use technology, the idea of using technology is for a specific purpose or purposes to say. So they tell us we want to look at sustainability. We have sustainability imperatives or goals that we want to help address. We want to improve our safety security. We want to look at efficiency and productivity of our assets. We want to deliver wellness type services and so on. And we want to look at a digital core. So this is what our customers are telling us. And I'm sure you hear that all the time. It's the same scenario. We want to use technology to affect a certain area or multiple areas. So it's no longer a nice to have. It's a must have when we talk about digital centric future from a portfolio standpoint. So these mega trends that we talk about, sustainability, security, mobility, efficiency, and the core anchored by a digital core and data-driven insights is what our customers are telling us. These are the priorities and the driver for digitization. That's clear. And the idea is, what is the challenge? Yeah, we know it's clear what are the priorities. But if you look at the technology landscape today, the challenge is to address these priorities, to address sustainability requirements, safety, security requirements, mobility requirements. You have to invest in siloed solutions primarily. This is what exists today out there in the market at the large scale. So you've got point solutions, or at least systems like safety security systems, environmental systems, building management, traffic systems, et cetera, that are siloed and fragmented. So the challenge with this is you are investing, but you're not really getting the ROI that you intended to get because of the fragmentation. Because there are operational silos, it's actually driving costs a little higher. Most importantly is the fragmentation from a technology investment and digital service is also leading to fragmentation from an insight standpoint. So that's leading to information gaps for decision making. So these are the challenges that we see today when our customers are looking to digitize. What is the solution to this? And this is what, as a technology startup, we focused on getting in place a platform that enables our customers to solve the challenges that they see from a digitization standpoint, to help them streamline complexity and provide a holistic view to their portfolio. So focus on three main elements: unified decision control. So unification is, the ability to integrate and unify both data sources and systems. So bring that together so that we enable holistic portfolio management. The second point that we focused on is the ability to, is there a question? Sorry? No.
Scott, do you mind me? Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah? No? Okay. I'll continue. As I say, I can't really see if there's a question, so if you want to interrupt, or we'll do it at the end. So the second key element is improving decision making, so smarter, faster, and using AI to apply AI towards your data, your environment, so that we can basically bubble up that information, get it to a point that it delivers insights so that you can improve the ability to make decisions in a smarter and faster way. And the third element is control. You want to still be able to monitor and control assets so that you can deliver digital services around sustainability, safety, security, and so on. So that's what we focused on as a solution, as a platform to enable that. What does that mean in a little more detail? So it's really unifying intelligence for smarter operations, bringing modern and agile advanced technologies to centralize or more unify data sources, digital services, and operations into a digital platform that can enable real-time portfolio-wide monitoring, control, insights, and enhanced decision-making. So the key elements of this is, portfolio-wide data, AI-enriched insights. They are real-time and historical, so you can go back in time, but also check what's going on today at this moment in my portfolio. And then finally, it's multi-domain digital services, domains like sustainability, safety, security, mobility, usability, and so on. So this is the idea of the Unified Digital Control Center platform, and bring in technology that enable you to deliver on this approach and this concept is what we did. And looking at it from a technology standpoint, if you look at what are the key elements and then who are the key stakeholders, how do we digitize? We bring physical things. We create a 3D model or a digital twin, if you like, of these physical things. We integrate them. We bring them alive. It's not only a digital twin. It's we bring them alive. We actually connect all the assets inside all the technology assets inside of those physical assets. We connect it into the cloud, and we use cloud technology to deliver the functionality to the executives that you see here on the right. Sorry, to the stakeholders you see on the right. The idea is we are catering for operators clearly, but also very importantly, in addition to catering for operators, you want to cater for the people who are actually controlling, monitoring, and making decisions at the portfolio scale. So if you look at a sustainability manager or safety security manager or facility manager or the CEO or CFO who are really interested in understanding the performance of their assets business-wise or operational efficiency-wise or from a sustainability standpoint, So we're catering for these kinds of users as well of the platform, not only operators who are looking at, of course, the day-to-day workflow. These are also very important stakeholders who are looking at the performance of their assets and looking to improve and being able to monitor, control, and get the insights necessary. So the stakeholders that we cater for are a key, they're really key from a value perspective in terms of the Unified Digital Control Center platform.
Ghazi, question while I have you. I'll monitor questions for you, and kind of if they're relevant, I'll pop in while you're during your pause. The question that came up, I think, ties into what you're talking about here. What kind of KPIs do you see for this type of system? I guess what is the deliverable to the stakeholders?
Okay, that's actually coming up in a couple of slides. So if I can hold down that question.
Absolutely.
We have specific type of KPIs and outcomes that we'll share as an example, and then we can discuss after. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So in terms of platform technology, let's look at a functional view. What are the key functional modules and the key functional capability within the platform? So first, it's seamless navigation. What you see on the left-hand side, so your ability to navigate throughout your portfolio from a building to a floor to a campus needs to be seamless and intuitive. It's all built on a 3D model, so it's very natural to go through your portfolio when you look at campus number 1, building number 2, in Calgary, in Toronto, in New York. So this is a natural extension of your physical world, so you can actually seamlessly navigate and intuitively get the data that you need at the top level. The second element is digital services. So we're looking at embedded in the platform functional modules that look at sustainability, safety, security, mobility, usability. And I'll give you some examples in a bit. But those have to be embedded and be able to, out of the box, deliver some of those services. The core module is data integration. So being able to actually integrate data in an agile manner from various data sources. And I'll give some examples of the types of data sources in a minute. Then finally, it's AI in two models. One is actionable insights using machine learning to be able to predict, forecast, and analyze data. And the other is using Gen AI, so generative AI and agentic AI to be able to actually deliver value, to be able to explore, interrogate, and get recommendations from the platform. Not a generic ChatGPT kind of like capability, but a ChatGPT for your environment that understands your environment, that understands your data. That's the power of Gen AI integrated and agentic AI on the platform. So what are the key technology capabilities and architectures? So of course, we talked about AI enriched. I'll talk about this in a minute. We talked about seamless digital twin 3D UI UX. So visual navigation and intuitive, seamless way. It's cloud native, it's containerized, it's scalable, it can allow you to scale with how much infrastructure you need. And it's also multi-tenanted, multi-organization. I'll talk about that in a minute because we believe this is also very important. Agility in data acquisition. And then one of the key capabilities is this unified hierarchical data model, which mimics the real world. So meaning that the data model of the platform is associated with the actual built environment. So it talks about rooms, floors, buildings, campuses, portfolio, roads, intersections, and so on. So it mimics the real world. So when you interrogate and you're able to actually very easily look at comparables and interrogate and give some examples. So which is my best building, my best performing building from a sustainability standpoint, and compare that from building A to building B. So it mimics actually the real world. So it gives you a very intuitive way to navigate through the platform. The platform is a software platform. It's hardware agnostic. And we believe that's actually a very important aspect of moving forward in terms of technology, because we do want to protect the investment of our customers. They've made a lot of investment in BMS, VMS, IoT devices, cameras, etc. So the idea is to tap into those, leverage those investments in systems and devices so that we're able to deliver the capability, but without the need for a rehaul. So let's talk about some of the key capabilities. So from a scaling standpoint, this is quite important because if we talk about portfolio, it's a portfolio-wide discussion. It's not a building discussion or an energy inside the building discussion or a camera security inside the building. It's a portfolio-wide capability from a space standpoint. So going from an individual floor to a building to a campus and to a district or to a portfolio spread across the nation. So this is very important as we talk about scalability of the platform, just to visualize that. The second thing is the ability to tap into data sources. I talked about an example. So it's the ability to tap into them from an open standards protocol standpoint. So going into buildings, going into security systems, looking at occupancy systems and looking at devices, sensors, being able to tap into those, unify those in an open standard way. So bringing the data and unifying it into the platform and continuously be able to read and monitor and also provide, if need be, two-way communication, meaning that we get data and we provide actual commands into those specific systems. So this is the ability to create extensible connectors that are pre-built for common systems, but also to be able to tap into systems that come up that are not necessarily part of those common systems, such as ERP systems or different types of CRM systems or what have you that you might want to be able to tap into to look at your business performance. The other aspect here that is critical, we believe, is when you talk about deploying in an enterprise-grade, enterprise scale, you have to have this capability, a multi-tenanted, multi-organization deployment. So you can deploy one platform, but then virtualize with logical separation across organizations. So your operations team or your facilities team or your security team or executive team will have their own users, capabilities, data access, geography access, functional module access. So this is critical as you deploy in an enterprise scale, because then you're not solely dependent on an administrator and a user. You actually can aggregate and organize by functions, by organizations, and give them the access to both the actual geography, location, the actual data, and the functional module. So this is critical as you move forward to be able to deploy on a large enterprise scale and do it in a way that's actually scalable and that functions without security issues. Then finally, not finally, but one of the key elements is actually embedding and integrating AI capabilities in the platform. So we go at it in an integrated manner, going up the scale of AI, starting from things like pre-trained models like video AI, which basically is a set of pre-trained video AI capabilities. So looking at video streams and understanding people, objects, vehicles, license plate recognition, potential security issues, and so on. These are pre-trained models that apply to all customers. Then we have specific machine learning models that can be trained locally that can understand customer anomalies. So in your case, what are anomalies? What are predictions that we can look at in your environment? Then the Gen AI capability embedded. So looking at essentially a digital AI assistant. So somebody that can help you. It's not somebody, it's a something that can help you interrogate, understand your environment, ask questions about your deployment. How many people were there in this building last weekend? And when we had the event 2 weeks ago, how many more people did we have? And how many more security incidents were there? So these kinds of questions that you expect to have to ask and interrogate the platform and get reports for. And finally, the ability to actually bring in AI agents. This technology in terms of not only having an assistant, but having a workforce that is digital. So whether you want to create workflows, you want to issue actual work orders, or you want to tap into a security manager and give them the information to be able to go and address an incident in a very quick manner. Those are the capabilities. It's like you're not only a digital AI assistant, but then AI agents are your digital workforce that you can provide a set of processes and workflow to actually execute on in case something happens automatically. Finally, the scalability is the important aspect here. We are cloud native. We run on Google, AWS, and Microsoft, and we're on the marketplace. So we have a distinction. That's a very important distinction to get on the marketplace within these hyperscalers. And we are very much integrated with their Gen AI and agentic AI capabilities. Let's talk about finish off with some sample applications, as in use cases, and what is the value that we deliver, and talk about potential, the agile deployment capability. Starting with a portfolio-wide sample application. So we talked about portfolio-wide capabilities, deliverables like sustainability, asset monitoring, control, and insights, safety, security, monitoring, control, and insights, and then also people, vehicle flow monitoring, and insights. So let's start with sustainability as an example. So when we talk about sustainability, these are some of the metrics, KPIs, as well as features and functions that we can deliver around sustainability. And this is to answer the question. We can look at equipment runtime, health, and performance, and we do that autonomously. So an AI agent looking at performance and looking at potential issues and bubbling those up in whichever way you think makes sense. We also look at performance trends from an individual asset to a floor to a building to a site to a portfolio. So trends and comparisons from a floor to floor, a building to building, asset, sustainability, security, those are critical in terms of being able to improve your asset performance overall. We can identify and zero in on top and bottom performers built into the platform. We say, give me my best performing building across my 1,000 building portfolio from a sustainability standpoint. Dig into the details and give me my worst performing building and compare the two. So those are abilities built into the platform. Correlate consumption against data sets from adjacent dimensions. So when we look at sustainability, we have to look at occupancy, environmental conditions, security elements. So the correlation is also very important. Mentioned this, leveraging anomaly and predictive capabilities to flag potential problem areas. And of course, at the end, leverage Gen AI to automate whether we want to build reports or ESG reports or different types of reports and analysis using Gen AI. Same thing applies from a security standpoint, manage security performance holistically, surfacing key operational performance metrics, compare and analyze alerts, incident trends across areas or floors, identify and zero in on top and bottom performance across locations from a security standpoint, correlate security events against different data sets. So, how many incidents do we have, as I mentioned last week or last Monday in this building versus the Monday before, and also compare that against events that took place in the building or in the area. So leverage Gen AI again, and then of course, mitigate also alarm fatigue by using a combination of rule-based and AI-enabled oversight. So we don't want 1,000 alarms or 100 alarms. We want the alarms that matter or the issues that matter to be bubbled up, and do so by leveraging advanced technology to mitigate this issue. From a usability standpoint, as a very simple and powerful example is to look at people flow queue management. So whether it's a mall or a lobby of a building or an airport or a port. So the idea is, how can we continuously monitor crowd density using video AI, but apply it in a way that allows you to manage the asset's performance by monitoring crowd density, predicting bottlenecks, and dynamically adjusting either signage or extra staffing or routing to ensure smooth people movement and reduce wait times. It's a very powerful application and a very simple application, but you can understand the potential of applying this into various types of assets. I talked about this business performance using Gen AI. So Gen AI interface inside the platform allows you to ask questions, interrogate specifically about your environment. The difference here is it understands your environment and your data. You can ask specific questions around in the building in Toronto, downtown building XYZ. How was the performance last week from an energy standpoint? So this is the type of questions, because the platform and the large language model, the Gen AI capability, understand your hierarchy, your environment, and your data. Let's close off with an actual example of a large deployment in, let's say, in a real estate portfolio unified digital control center platform. So a large enterprise portfolio owner wants to deploy the platform and look at things like asset performance, sustainability and compliance, geospatial portfolio analytics, and strategic decision making. So the objective of asset performance is really to streamline operations, extend asset lifespan, and identify underperforming assets. From a sustainability and compliance standpoint, look at sustainability from a specific asset standpoint, look at performance, improve ESG overall performance, mitigating compliance risk, and also boosting stakeholder confidence. Strategic decision making, accelerating executive decision making, reducing uncertainty, and looking at really how do I plan better for my next investment or for my next project, using real world data and real world implementation to improve the way we make decisions. And then we talked about geospatial portfolio analytics. So being able to mimic your environment and identifying high performance regions, buildings, uncovering underperforming assets from usability, occupancy standpoint, and enable location aware decision making. So i.e., eventually, reducing operating costs, looking at benchmarking efficiency, monitoring, optimizing facility equipment, employing predictive maintenance, improving asset performance by analyzing project success and correlating financial metrics. And then, of course, looking at usability, understanding workforce origins and time spent, dwell times, evaluate performance by location output. And then safety and security, as well as sustainability, very clear in terms of how do you improve safety, security, integrated video AI, integrated incident response, automated reporting, tracking energy consumption, optimizing energy consumption, and so on. So going back to the beginning and saying, okay, we're doing this for the specific ability to deliver portfolio-wide these business benefits. So, and not only facility or security or sustainability, but asset business performance, asset operational performance, asset usability performance, and the ability to improve smarter and faster decision making. Is this something that we need to deploy, using a big bang approach? It seems to be complicated, but it's really not in the sense of the way you can deploy this. So there's a flexible deployment models, and you can do so by geography, by region, by functional module, and by data source. So bringing the three together, you can say, I'm going to start with my campus in Ottawa, and then scale that to my campuses across the nation and across the US and Europe and so on. So the idea is you can start with a specific geography and region. You can start with functional modules. Let me start with sustainability and security, and then add mobility and add other types of capability. And you can also start with specific data sources and data systems that you actually integrate into the platform. Because it's cloud native, it's scalable and secure, so you can add infrastructure as needed towards your deployment. And finally, we suggest and we always recommend, as you deploy, think about the outcome and match that with the data requirement. Don't go for a big bang approach to integrate all your data. Match it with the outcome and start with using data. We do get a lot of customers actually saying, my data is not ready. But this to me, to us, it doesn't make. It's not a challenge. It's much more of let's get data in, let's use it. The more you use your data, the better your data is going to become. So we do always look at data and outcome and match the two so we can deploy much more effective. Thank you very much. So I hope this was a introduction. Now, certainly looking forward to questions and comments.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, and kind of one of my key takeaways, Ghazi, was that at the end of the day, we really don't know how valuable our data is until we start to bring it into the platform, and then from there we can adjust our data sources to better fine tune what we're looking for outcomes.
Absolutely, absolutely. The more we use our data, the better our data is going to become. Like anything. So if we keep on delaying and waiting and saying, well, I don't have the right data, it doesn't make sense. What you need is directional flow from a portfolio. So even if your data is not 100% accurate, it doesn't really matter. If it's 80% accurate, again, depending on what you want to use it for, but if it's 80% or 85% or 70% accurate, it gives you directional decision making, which is important. So if it wasn't,
it creates the roadmap for you.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a few questions that came in as well, so I don't want to try to move through these, but still be able to answer them. One of our guests asks if you can explain a little bit more about the level of detail in your 3D model. Does the model include building envelope components, infiltration rates, material degradation, that sort of detail?
The model is detailed enough from an actual physical layout, so built environment in detail, as well as activating technology and data. So if the question is, let's say the model, does it go all the way towards looking at the actual wall and the material used and no, but it can. I mean, we don't do that normally because of the outcomes that we're focused on. What we need is the layout, the space, and the elements, the devices that are there, so it'll allow us to manage this space more effectively. But we don't go into the details of the actual, construction material use, if this is the question.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that insight. And again, it's really about the data and what we're doing with the data to manage the portfolio better. When it comes to the data, two questions. One is, does this have to be a cloud service, or is there an on-prem solution? And two, who owns the data once it's gathered? How is that secured?
Very, very good question. We prefer cloud-based, but the idea here is that we don't deploy in our tenant. This is not a kind of public SaaS service. The platform is deployed in the customer's tenant, meaning that if your enterprise, let's say Walmart, as an example, if you're Walmart wanting to deploy this, what happens is you're typically working with either Google or Microsoft or AWS, and you have an environment already. What we do is deploy it inside your tenant. So the actual platform is in your tenant, your data remains in your tenant, and you own the platform and data as long as you use it. The data remains yours, and there's
an on-site appliance, but also the cloud provides some of the analytics skill.
Correct. So the deployment is cloud-based, but there's a lot of edge capability that you can deploy so that you can actually mitigate the amount of data regards, specifically around video and video AI. So you can deploy some edge capability analytics. We do have a full edge deployment or full on-prem deployment in your own data center, but we don't necessarily recommend that because it would require a significant investment in your data center, unless you're a major organization that already has all of these capabilities built into the data center. So we're hybrid. We can deploy in the cloud, we can deploy on-prem, or deploy in a hybrid model, some of the capabilities in the cloud and some of it on-prem. But it is in your tenant. That's what's important. Even though it's in the cloud, it's actually in your tenant. It's in the customer's tenant. The data remains in their environment.
The AI component, is that only learning from my portfolio, let's say, or is it taking things that it's learned from other customers' portfolios and applying it to our data?
So it's not sharing data from different customers. No. So it would learn from publicly available information and your environment specifically, and apply it to your environment, and it will learn a lot, obviously, from your data. But the models will learn from publicly available information. So meaning that we can take data from a specific customer, learn from it, and apply it into another customer. Because we're fully segregated in terms of data.
Great. And we have about a minute left, so we'll make this the last question. What makes your solution stand out from similar offerings in the marketplace?
Well, what I mentioned in the beginning, which was really the idea of portfolio-wide benefit delivery. So we scale from a space standpoint, look at portfolio, and we scale from a functional standpoint. And that's very important because as our customers have told us, when we manage, we want to manage our portfolio. We want to manage, and we want to be able to take the latest advanced technology to apply towards delivering that. And that's really the major differential from what we do. Of course, the technology that we have inside the platform to enable this is also a big differential, but without going into the details of the technology, it's really the benefit, the outcome. It's portfolio-wide, it's space, it's seamless from a space standpoint, and it's also functionally scalable from a holistic standpoint in terms of sustainability, security, and so on. That would be the key elements, I would say.
Great. Well, really appreciate that. Ghazi, thank you for taking time today and presenting to the team. Really some interesting perspective, certainly a super powerful technology. Kind of excited to see how that rolls out in the future here.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Absolutely. All right. Jumping back into the ASHB slide deck. Thank you, Marta. Chris, you're up with the podcast section.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to take a moment to kind of highlight the ASHB Smarter Homes and Building podcast. I'm not sure if everybody has been aware of this, but they offer a podcast where industry leaders and innovators share practical insights on technologies shaping our safer and smarter living spaces. So if you're interested in being a guest or even hosting an episode, we're always looking for subject matter experts to join the conversation. And to do this, you would reach out to us at admin@ashb.com or talk to Marta to get involved. In our latest episode, Robert Solar shares how circadian lighting supports better sleep, mood, and performance. So I think that's an interesting topic. You can access recently recorded episodes by visiting our website at www.ashb.com/podcast. And so Ken, let's continue with the white paper library.
Great. Thank you for that, Chris. Now over to our white papers. Ken?
Well, thank you very much, Bob. ASHB serves its members in multiple ways. You've heard some of them through the research projects and through meetings like this where we have featured presenters. We also have ongoing projects to develop white papers that originate with the members of this committee. Anyone is welcome to propose a white paper, and then we will help you organize a review panel of experts who can contribute to your paper or review the paper that you've proposed. Our papers are typically 5 to 10 pages. If you have an extensive topic, we can divide it up into multiple white papers. You see some examples on this slide. So anyone who has an idea for a paper proposal, we would like to start with an overview or an introduction to the topic. Then if it requires additional papers, we can get into the technology and the market development. In addition, we survey papers through the Publication Review Committee, papers that have been published elsewhere, typically in the trade press. We have a rigorous screening process where the staff of ASHB first comes up with a potential list of papers, and then we asked ASHB members voluntarily to review these papers and fill out a reviewer's form where we screen these papers for relevance to the home and building domains. That's the sphere of ASHB. We determine the timeliness of the paper. We determine that the paper has relevant information without being overtly commercial. We will accept papers that mention company names as long as it describes a general issue, and then the company is certainly free to say that they have a solution in this space. but we don't like it when the company says, here's a problem and there is only one solution and we're the only vendor. We've never had a problem really like that. We have hundreds and even thousands of papers when you look through the history of ASHB. We keep the papers limited to members for a few years, and then we make it available to the general public. In addition, CABA has the ASHB, ASHB has the journal, and members are welcome to submit papers. I have been writing papers for many years, almost from the origin of ASHB and its predecessor, CABA. In fact, I just submitted yet another paper yesterday for publication within the next few weeks. So I urge everyone to use the information sources and the ability to disseminate your concepts through ASHB. By the way, let me mention that if you do offer to review papers for the Publication Review Committee, we will provide a small reward in terms of 25 ASHB dollars that can be spent on ASHB products, and in addition to the 25 in virtual money, we send you real money. We send you $25 as a thank you. So I appreciate the time to address the ASHB Smart Building Committee. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Mike,
Ken.
Ken, is there any papers that are not yet reviewed? Is there a new list, Marta, that we
There
can
is.
go?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. If you click on that link that that I send out, you'll be able to review. There's a few of them there, and if for any reason you don't have those, David, just let me know and I'll send you the link.
No,
Yeah,
thank
David,
you.
they were Marta distributed a list about a month ago, and I reviewed 5 papers, and
Okay,
there were
I'm
quite a number still left.
okay. That's what I have, and actually, I have a student now that might want to. Well, a graduate in sustainability that's very interested. Hope she's on this call. Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Great. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate the information there.
Very
A
well.
lot of great opportunity for our members too. So wonderful. All right, moving along. This is our new business section of the agenda. Any of our members who have any new ideas for keynotes, white papers, new projects to discuss, new agenda items, really any new business at all, this is the time that would be great to hear about it.
Well, I just put in the chat, Bob, and I was just on the phone with the Canadian rep for Poppy. And what is Poppy? Poppy is the new indoor air quality testing that meets the new ASHRAE infection control standard. ASHRAE 241 has just been brought out, the result of COVID, the result of people returning to buildings. Obviously, ASHB has done something on indoor air quality previously. And so I think we'd like to maybe have a podcast on it, or I'm offering the members that have buildings that want to test. And they're doing it under energy saving approach. So I put it in the chat if that's available, and I'm happy to help ASHB members find out more.
Great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, Bob, I also have an item, and I think David might be interested in this. But, with the tariffs that we're dealing with, how are the tariffs affecting our business? It might be interesting. I'm not sure who could speak on it, who would be an expert, but that might be an interesting thing to talk about, because I know,
Yeah.
David's affected by it, and I know some of our projects have been affected by it.
Just on that, Bob, there's a whole because of in terms of Canadian, the Procurement Canada is looking at how do we lower the challenges of selling to the governments, whether it's your GSA or DOD or whatever, because of the procurement struggles. So and with tariffs, so I think we might be able to. I know there is an event, a webinar. Ontario Sustainable Energy is being invited to participate. obviously, I report that I was attending the Smart Summit, and obviously the Consortium for Smart Buildings now is part of Linux, and some of you were there before the AHR Expo. So I think there's still lots of ways that we can work in these areas in making smarter buildings.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And I think the barriers to working with governmental agencies is huge. That certainly crosses both borders. Tariffs are just as challenging for us as well. So all really good suggestions.
Yeah, okay, I'll share them with Marta, and we'll put it in the newsletter. Many of these events I attend and say, "Oh, I should have told ASHB about it."
Awesome, thank you, David. As always, appreciate the contributions. Anyone else with new business? All right, Chris, I think you have some announcements for us.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. We have some upcoming events, and these are the events that we have on our list, and they're prominent events. But if you have any additional events that you might like to bring attention to, please do that. Some of the things that we have on our list are Infocom, which is in Orlando, June 7th through the 13th, and ASHB will have a booth there. Realcom or IBCom, which is in Tampa, Florida, June 20th and 21st. ASHB will have a booth there and will be attending. The BICSI, which is in Las Vegas, in August 17th through the 20th. We will not be attending, so if anybody is going to attend that and can report on it for ASHB, that would be great. And then we have the IFMA World Workplace in Minneapolis in September 17th through the 19th, and ASHB will have a booth there. So again, if there's any additional items or events that we want to highlight, please bring it to our attention.
This is Ken Wax. If I might take a moment to mention an ongoing series of events run by the Interstate Renewable Energy Council, a trade association that fosters the training of solar installers and educates regulators on the benefits of distributed energy resources. I chair the Customer Grid Edge Committee. We conduct roundtable discussions every other week on Friday afternoons on a variety of topics. We've had almost 90 featured speakers. In fact, I'm sending out my arrangements for our next meeting, June 6th. It'll be speaker number 90 since we started in 2020. A number of people on this call, including David Katz, have been featured speakers. These are very informal meetings. The purpose is to learn about topics related to energy management, focusing behind the meter, or what's known as distributed energy resources. Meetings are free. They're open to anyone. To find out about it, just use a search engine for IREC space CGE. You'll be led to the page where you can sign up and you can view previous meetings. So yeah. Thank you.
I'll just add, because I attend those, and there is also, I'm attending Retrofit Canada in Toronto. It goes back and forth, Toronto, Vancouver, on June 9th and 10th. And major money is still available for deep retrofits, and many of our members may even be there. So just wanted to share that. It's not tied directly to, it is Retrofit Buildings Canada, so it's about buildings, and it's all kinds of things about buildings as it relates to the deep retrofits, which are still being done in Canada.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. And I'll actually throw one out there too. It's a little bit unconventional for our audience today, but I find that the lines are blurring now with how technology is being used. You may want to consider, especially if you're in the area, going to NRF Protect. It's June 23rd through 25th in Grapevine, Texas, which is just outside Dallas. It is a retail industry focused security event But the trends that I've been seeing over the last few years is how security devices are now being brought into building automation and being used to make smarter decisions, enabling AI, data gathering, so on and so forth. So definitely check that out. It'd be great to get other members' feedback on it if they do see value in our core audience here attending some of these not so specific to building automation type events. Great. Well, I think that.
I'll just build on what you said. Part of the whole smart building thing is we have to go beyond energy into security, into indoor air quality, and it's the interoperability. So we still offer our building intelligence quotient. We've been actually approached by UL to look at it, and building-iq.com for those people that want to try a demo of our new version that we initially developed for CABA over 10 years ago, but updated it now. Thanks.
Thanks, David. Cool. Well, that brings us to our final agenda point, adjournment. Just to give everybody the heads up, the next meeting will be scheduled in August. We'll get the date out to you as soon as that is set. If you have any questions about this or about ASHB in general, you can always reach out directly to Marta or Greg or admin@ashb.com. As always, value your input and certainly your attendance and the contributions from everybody. Marta, anything that you need to get out there before we release everyone?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well, thank you all again. Enjoy your summer, and hopefully we'll all reconnect in August.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care.